Alright, so today I got all these in the mail today, which got me some Music CDs and Dreamcast games, some PlayStation 2 games, some mangas, some figures, and some DVDs as well. And I got all these from Suruga-Ya's website, which this is my 14th order from them. So anyways, I'm going to show you what I got today. First off, the Music CDs and Dreamcast games. Here's Ready to Rumble Boxing, which this game was released in Japan as like a Dreamcast exclusive, while the second game was released in Japan as a PlayStation 2 exclusive. So now I have it on Dreamcast. So here's the disc and the spine card. Here's Pen Triathlon, which I already have a North American copy of this game, and now I have it in Japanese. So here's the disc and the spine card. Although I think the Japanese version is much superior because the Western versions have the blood censored. Like there's one level where the blood's replaced with water in that horror stage. Although that's actually a pretty interesting change in the Western release. Here's Hot Shot by Shaggy. Although the song called It Wasn't Me, that's actually my all-time favorite from Shaggy. Like one of my all-time favorite songs when I was a little kid. So here's the disc. And here's Shaggy. Here's Chef Aid, the South Park album, which is the Japanese copy. And I bought this for almost $8. Although it's actually pretty rare finding a Japanese copy of this album. So here's the disc and the spine card. Although I thought this was a sticker at first, but it's actually part of the spine. Here's Kaseki Cider by Kaseki Cider. Although I actually got into his music like a few months ago, and his music sounds pretty good. I did like the song Cider Blues. That one's a pretty catchy one. So here's the disc. Here's Little L by Jamiroquai, which is the single. And this one's like my fifth Jamiroquai single that I have in my Jamiroquai collection. So here's the disc. Well, I already had the single for Virtual Sanity, Stillness of Time, Too Young to Die, Deeper Underground, and now Lil L. Here's Lupe Fiasco's Food and Liquor by Lupe Fiasco. Although the song Kick Push is my all-time favorite when I was a kid. So now I have the album on CD. So here's the disc and the spine card. Now on to the DVDs. So here's Scary Movie, which is a jewel case copy. This is actually my third DVD that I have in a jewel case form. Although I already have this on VHS and DVD, and now I have a Japanese copy of this movie. So here's the disc and the manual. Here's this Hollywood Zakoshi Show DVD, which is Volume 1. And this DVD was actually brand new when I got in the mail. Like, it was all sealed. Which I actually have the hype sticker. Like, it's complete with the hype sticker right here, which is a message from Pierre Taki of Denki Grove. So, that's pretty cool how it's, like, brand new and sealed. So, here's the disc and the index. Although Hollywood Zakoshi Show is actually a pretty funny comedian, I highly recommend checking him out if you haven't. Here's Amalka, which I actually got into this cartoon like a few months ago as well. It's actually pretty cute. Like it's a DVD book. Like it's a book and also DVD. Like here's the illustrations. Like it's a Czechoslovakia cartoon, which is this fairy named Amalka. And she like interacts with animals and creatures she came across. So here's some of the illustrations. And here's the DVD. And now on to some PlayStation 2 games. Here's Metal Slug 4, which this one I've been wanting for a while. Although, I've been wanting to play the Metal Slug games for like a long time. Well, I have the first game on Nintendo Switch, and it looks pretty cool. I did play Alien Hominid before, which that's heavily inspired by Metal Slug. So here's the disc and the manual. But yeah, the character feel is the reason why I wanted to play the Metal Slug games, since I love me some female characters with glasses. Here's True Crime Streets of LA, which already have a North American copy of this game, and now have it in Japanese. So here's the disc and the manual. Here's Crossfire, or X-Squad as it's called in the West. Although, I remember first playing this game, like when I got out of flea market back in like 2010 when I was 12 years old. I thought it was a pretty alright game. But as I was replaying it, it actually looks pretty good. So here's the disc and the manual. Also, they just toned down the characters' outfits in the Western release, which is pretty interesting. Here's Beatmania 2DX Ape Style, which already have the 6 style, which I bought at GameQuest the other day. And I thought I would actually buy another Beatmania 2DX game. Which I never even played any of the Beatmania 2DX games before, but I played the original Beatmania. So here's the disc and the manual. And here's Pro Mahjong Kiwame Next, which is another game I've been wanting for a while, since I love me some Mahjong games. So here's the disc. Sadly, this doesn't come with a manual, which I never see my Suruga-Ya orders like that before. And onto some books. So here's the Gachikashi Volume 1, the Gachikashi Volume 2, the Gachikashi Volume 3, Dimension W7, and Dimension W8. Well, I already have 6 volumes of Dimension W. And I've been wanting to read the mangas for the Gachikashi in a long time, which I got into this series back in 2016. Show you some of the pages. And for Dimension W. And those are all the books. And last but not least, here are some figures that I got. So here's Najika in her bikini from Najika Bliss Tactics. The reason why I wanted this was because I already have Leela right here in her bikini, which I got this on Facebook Marketplace back in 2022. And I would actually add Najika into the collection. So yeah, Najika Bliss Tactics is a pretty good series. I would recommend checking that one out if you haven't yet. And here's this figure of Sophidia from Soul Calibur, which she's actually my go-to character now in the Soul Calibur games. Well, when I was a kid, my go-to characters in Soul Calibur were Astaroth and Voldo. I thought those characters were pretty cool. And now Sophidia is actually my go-to character. It's also my go-to character in the Soul Calibur games. I like how powerful her attacks are, especially her sword attack. And even came with this information too for the figures, for other Namco figures. Like it's owned by the company called Eugene. And that's why I got in the mail today. Well, just want to show you my Suruga-Ya pickups. So that's all for right now, and thanks for watching. Show you them one more time.